Hello, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Alyssa and today I have an update for my Pan That palette. Pan That palette is just what it sounds like. You are taking an eyeshadow palette and you could do a face palette too. And you are trying to use up all the eyeshadow and completely pan the palette. This was started by Amber F here on YouTube. And I already actually completed one palette earlier this year, and I decided that I wanted to go ahead and just start another palette because, you know, the palettes are just like us. They're getting older every day. So if I'm just going to wait till 2026, it's going to be aging in that time. I may as well get some uses before then. And so I am working on my Stoned Vibes palette. And I'm going to count it done if I finish all the shimmer shades. I'm not saying I have to finish all the matte eyeshadows because they're really not anything special. The shimmers were the reason I got the palette, and the mattes are just kind of, you know, supporting eyeshadows. And so I do have a video up on my channel since the last update and before this one where I repressed the eyeshadows. So when you're seeing my current picture, you're going to see that they're, you know, it's going to look a lot different. So let's go ahead and talk about the uses, and yeah, let's get more into this. Okay, so my main goal has been to use each eyeshadow at least 4 times each. And so I have now been working on this palette for 3 months. And, you know, the first month I didn't really care. I just was like, let me just use it and see what happens. And so last month's update, you know, for that one, I was like, let me try to use everything 4 times. I did that. I did it again this time, although I will say it was a little tricky-ish. I don't know. Some of the eyeshadows are just not always, you know, my top favorites anymore. So I'm trying to make them work. And sometimes I am not always happy with how it turns out, but, you know, we're doing what we can with it, okay? So the first eyeshadow is basically kind of a lid setting shade for me. So I used this one 17 times, and it took a little bit to hit the pan again, but you can see that it's, you know, really thin in there. There's not much left, and I think that I'm not sure if I could finish this eyeshadow by the next update, but I'm pretty sure that I could just finish this eyeshadow, you know, as I'm doing this. So this would be a matte eyeshadow that would get finished. The next eyeshadow I used 4 times, and this one is still doing pretty well. It's just, you know, the eyeshadows are flaky. When I repressed them, it was just to try to get them a little bit less flaky, but, you know, they're just drying out. The next eyeshadow I actually used 5 times. So the fact that I didn't hit pan again in the 5 uses, but, you know, it's okay. This one is more silvery. I feel like it has changed over time, that it wasn't always as silvery as it appears now. But that is definitely, you know, how it looks at this point. And I need to compare it. Maybe I've already done that by this. I don't know. I was thinking about doing something where I'm comparing silvers because I just got a brand new silver eyeshadow, like a proper silver one. And I wanted to kind of compare it against some other shadows that I felt like were kind of what I was using for silver, like this one. So yeah, I'm not sure if I would have done that by the time this goes up, but I had been considering it. So we'll see. Then the next eyeshadow I used 4 times. And this one I'm just kind of, I guess, working my way down. It wasn't really intentional, just kind of that's how the pan appeared. I'm just kind of, you know, going with it at this point. I guess kind of like the green shade, that one's kind of working that way too. I think part of it's because like I'm putting my brush in and just trying to like kind of, you know, press down so that it's not just coming up in shards. The next eyeshadow I also used 4 times. This was one that took me a little bit longer to use, although this one's actually okay. It's still shiny on the eyes. So the next matte eyeshadow I used 8 I used it 8 times, and I'm not sure if I will finish this one or not. I have similar eyeshadows, but sometimes it's sort of it's already in my makeup bag, so then I use it when I'm thinking about that type of color. And it works pretty well, so, no big complaints on it. The next eyeshadow is another matte, and this one I've been using in my brows with the darkest matte eyeshadow, which is more of a satin. And I don't know, I've been using it together, but I feel like sometimes it's just a little bit too warm of a brow when I do that. I didn't actually use it today. Today I just used the darker shade. And yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of this brown eyeshadow, so this is not one for sure that I would plan on using up. If it happens to get used up, great, but it's not a big plan. Although I will say I used it 26 times this past month. And then the next eyeshadow, Bloodstone, I used 4 times. And I was gonna say that this is a very disappointing eyeshadow. It was never the top one. Like, it was one I was excited for, and then it just, I don't know, it doesn't perform as well as I want it to. But I used it recently with a glitter glue, and it was way more shiny than I've seen it for a long time. So maybe I just need to be pairing it with a glitter glue every time. The next eyeshadow was already done last month, still done. Then we have Raw Energy, the purpley shade. I used it 4 times. This is one of those where, you know what? I should try this one with glitter glue too, because maybe it'll be like Bloodstone and show up a little better. We'll see. Then Meditate, I've used 4 times, and it's kind of hard to see the pan. Like, I wasn't even sure I hit pan at first because the pan is almost kind of dyed there, like the color of the eyeshadow. But that's actually one of my, I guess it's my biggest pan of the bottom row. So, I'm doing okay, I guess, using that one. Again, wasn't really a favorite. The bottom row in general, just not the favorite. The top row is kind of where it was at for me. And then the final shade I used, sorry, it's a lot of tallies to count, 29 times. So yeah, this is probably my favorite of the non-shimmer shadows in the palette. I mean, the Good Karma, you're like, oh, well, that's almost used up, but it's just a beige, there's nothing special about it. So this Third Eye eyeshadow, I feel like, is a nice one. It's worked pretty well. I like the tone of it, that it's not super cool toned or warm and just somewhere in the neutral type of middle there. And so yeah, the last, let's see, my first update, I had used 62/100ths of a gram, and that was when I was just saying, let's see what happens. Last time I used 94/100ths of a gram, and that was when I used up the blue eyeshadow, which I used it up doing manicures, so, it's going to get used a little faster in a way. This time, I used 87/100ths of a gram, and I didn't finish any eyeshadows. I did do some repressing, but I don't think I lost, much in the repressing. I was trying to keep everything just in the pans there, so, maybe a little bit. But yeah, I think I definitely did a good job with that because, it's almost an eyeshadow then each time the last 2 months that I've been using up. And so I feel like that's, good, because if I'm just trying to use up the shimmers, then, maybe this could be done the first half of next year. I don't know. So, I'm just going to keep rolling with this. So I guess I'm going to have to kind of change the title or something, because it's been like, Pan That Palette with 2025. Maybe I'll just rename it with Stoned Vibes or something so that you can kind of keep track of it that way. Also, I have been doing sort of my Finish 5 in 2025, but I'm actually filming this. My updates have kind of been getting filmed early, and then I just kind of post them consistent part of the month though. Like, I'm filming it consistently and then just posting it a good bit later just to make sure that it's, it is staying regular. But that, this thing, since it's rolling, I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and stick with my normal filming day. but I'm giving myself longer for my blush that's left, just to, you know, because I am still trying to finish it by the end of this year, even if I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't know. Because like I said, I'm filming this now, and who knows what it's gonna look like by the time, you know, by giving myself more time with it. And so yeah, so for now, this is just gonna be for this palette, and you'll have to stay tuned for my blush to see how that is looking at the end of this year. But yeah, so you can subscribe if you want to see how we're going to be doing with this palette into the next year, how long it might take me to do it, or if I have to give up because maybe the shimmers are just turning terrible. But yeah, I want to thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye!